Hi everyone, Amy here at Studio 23, where we are winding down for the year, enjoying the holidays, and starting to think about what's coming up in 2024, which means it's time to start thinking about the 100-day project. This is going to be our sixth year in a row participating in the 100-day project here at the studio. So if you have been a part of it before, this presentation might look a little bit familiar, but if you're new to the idea or this is your first time hearing about it, let me give you a little bit of a rundown on what the 100-day project is and how it works. The basics of the 100-day project is that artists explore individual self-motivated projects. So you choose your materials, you choose your theme, you essentially make the rules for yourself. And throughout those 100 days, we'll have some check-in meetings. We have an online Facebook community that you can join and share your progress and what you're working on. And we kind of get support and motivation from each other in that way. Our theme for this year is going to be innovate. I brainstormed a little bit with my friend Joanne, who has been doing the 100-day project with us for the previous 5 years, and I'm sure is going to join us again this year. And she came up with the word innovate, which I thought was perfect because innovation means change, it means introducing something new. And that's always been a big draw for me to the 100-day project, is it sort of gives you permission to step outside of your normal routine and experiment and explore and try something a little bit new and to innovate in that way. So artists can use this theme to help guide you through your projects, or you can create your own theme and do it totally on your own, whatever you want to focus on throughout those 100 days. But no matter what the focus of your project, we'll all be working to be innovative within our creative practice and to help make that a habit over the course of 100 days. So there are a few steps to make the commitment for your 100-day project in 2024. And that's going to be to create a project and dedicate 5 to 10 minutes a day to that project. So not a lot of time. If you have more than that, absolutely you can spend it on your project, but that minimum of 5 to 10 minutes. And the project will change as you navigate through the 100 days. So stay flexible, let it sort of tell you what it needs and follow those different paths. But you can always use that original concept as your guiding theme. And you will need to register your project online. So I'll put that link in the video description so I know to invite you to our meetings and make sure you get all of those updates. Then you can share your progress online in our private Facebook group that will be just for members of the 2024 100-day project. And of course, come to those check-in meetings that we'll have about every 25 days to just chat and look at each other's work and give each other some of that support and motivation. When you are doing that first step of making a plan for your project, some tips are to choose a project and a process that fits your life and schedule. So if you know you have a really busy schedule and maybe that 5 to 10 minutes a day is really realistically all you have to work on your project, think about what can you pick up and work on for that amount of time and feel like you've made some progress on it. And maybe there are days when you start working and that turns into an hour or 2 hours or the whole day, which is great. But think about something that can fit the constraints of your life and your schedule. Next is to create a space to work where you can be comfortable and productive. So some of us might be fortunate enough to have a studio or a studio space in our home. For a lot of us, it's probably our kitchen table or the TV tray in front of the couch. But make sure that you have a space where you can work every day, where you don't have to do a lot to prepare in that way. So maybe you just have a box next to your armchair with all your supplies in it that you can pull out and put away every day. Make that part easy for yourself. And consider journaling to keep yourself accountable. This might be a simple bulleted list of what you did that day or a few words. It could be something a little more in depth about how your work is evolving, or might be something more personal where you're considering your moods and what's going on in your life and how that's affecting the work that you make. And finally, try to create a ritual for yourself. It might be as simple as just preparing your materials to work, depending on what you're working with. Maybe you like to turn on music or you want to meditate before you start working. Whatever that ritual is like for you, that's going to help you to create that habit. And when you are starting to create that plan, try to keep it simple, short, and concise. This will allow you some flexibility as you're navigating through those 100 days. And my next bullet is allow for exploration. So you might have an idea that you start with and end up in a totally different field at the end of the 100 days, and that's totally fine. This project's going to kind of take on a life of its own, and you're going to learn what works and what doesn't and follow those different avenues. Also, choose something you're excited about. If it's something that feels mundane or daunting to do every day, it's going to be more difficult to make a habit out of that. So choose something that's going to be fun and exciting for yourself. And again, choose something that fits your life. Think about the time constraints, the space constraints that you personally have, and choose something that's going to fit within that frame. So what counts for the 100-day project? Hands-on creation, whatever that looks like for you, working with whatever materials you work with. It can be sketching, journaling, or just working through ideas and conceptualizing. It can be prep work like priming canvas, cutting paper, or finishing touches like matting and framing. A lot of us will also count research and gathering information. So if you're reading articles or you're listening to interviews or podcasts, maybe you're visiting museums or galleries, any way that you're kind of gathering that inspiration, you can count that as a part of those 100 days. And of course, coming to our meetings, I always count those for myself. Some tips to keep your momentum. It takes about 3 weeks to develop a habit, so getting started might be the most difficult part. That's where creating that ritual for yourself is going to help make that habit stick a little bit more and make that easier for you after those first 3 weeks or so. Join our meetings to get that sort of encouragement and motivation from one another and spark ideas off of one another. And be sure to join and share in our Facebook group so we can keep up with each other in between those 25-day meetings. Share your work on social media and use our hashtags so we can find those. And remember to just stay flexible. If your plan veers away from your original, that's okay. Follow that path. And most importantly, remember that you make your own rules. So if life gets in the way, just start again. You might make a rule for yourself. If you miss a day, you can make up for it by adding time on the next day, or there might be other rules that you make for yourself to stay flexible within that. You make the rules, and no one here is going to enforce them except for you. We just want to see what you've been up to. So I hope you will join us for our day one kickoff meeting on January 17th at 5 p.m. Be ready to share the plan for your project. And ahead of time, think about your materials, your process, and a concept or idea that will be the focus of your project. But again, stay flexible. Be ready to veer away from that. Come with any questions you might want to ask everyone else about your project or get ideas about. And we'll talk for about 5 minutes, depending on how many of us there are at that first meeting. We'll have meetings at about 25-day intervals, depending on what day of the week that lands. And you'll find that schedule in the link to register your project. Those dates are already in there, so you can plan ahead for those. And we do have hybrid options. So you can join us here in the studio, which I highly encourage as many of us that can to please do, or you can join us virtually over Zoom. It will be winter, so sometimes the weather gets a little bit dicey. So I hope to see you at the 100-day project kickoff meeting. If you have any questions about the 100-day project or you just want to learn more, feel free to reach out to me here at the studio. Thanks, everyone.